Zwom. Doot, 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 doot. BMO.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another BMO Creative crypto video. So this one is about the Tennessee Wildman. I had several people request this. I hope this is what you were looking for. Based on the research, here we go. The origins of the Tennessee Wildman go back to around the 1800s. Primarily McNairy County, Tennessee was the most complete story I could find. One of the stories is that a circus showman somehow captures a Sasquatch and put him on display in a cage so everyone could see him for the cost of admission until the Sasquatch broke free. The wild man is described as either dark gray or dark ginger haired, is about 7 to 9 feet tall, and is always described as having piercing red eyes. This is known also to shout disturbing war cries, almost like warrior Native American cries that can frighten anyone who hears them, and has a horrible smell that's reminiscent of skunk apes in Florida. Wildman is very aggressive in behavior and could possibly be the arch enemy of Sasquatch, ironically, often fighting for territorial reasons with Bigfoot. Not surprisingly, the wild man possesses great strength, agility, and speed, of course. There have been many groups that have went out hunting for the creatures. From the research I've done, I won't get into detail on those because these are not videos that are like 45 minutes long. This is like a really quick video. But usually they don't find anything, or something really traumatizing happens to them in Tennessee that makes them run away without getting evidence, and many times leaving thousands of dollars worth of gear in the woods. Not gear as in drugs, but gear as in cameras and microphones and things. The monster is known to have a strange targeting obsession with dogs and women. Many women, I found, have come out to say that wild men have attempted to snatch them away or carry them away, is what they felt. A hand reaching into a tent and grabbing them, and when the tent wouldn't unzip, dragging their leg all the way out of the tent, but the rest of the body's in the tent. Their boyfriend or husband's in the tent with them, grabbing a knife or a gun and yelling what's going on, everybody's screaming, and then whatever grabbed them would let go and run off, and they have like red marks or bruising on their ankle where it looked like a hand grabbed them. The latest known wildman sighting took place over 20 years ago near Elizabethton, Tennessee. Rob Phillips, along with his cousin, were on a night hike to the Bee Cliffs. Through the rain, they noticed something strange in the forest. Everything had become completely silent. Yeah, that's never a good sign. The sound of a snapping twig broke the silence, followed by a horrible, inhuman battle cry unlike the hikers had ever heard. The men fled separately, which is not a good idea, through the darkened wood, with Phillips soon finding safety behind a tree. It wasn't long after that he spotted the wild man clinging to a nearby tree about 15 feet away from him. So it was like right there next to him as he ran. It just followed him. Rob heard his cousin break for the hill after he saw that thing. He turned and ran for the hill to get out of there, and he followed suit. Phillips' account corresponds slightly with the initial tales of the Tennessee Wildman. He was described as stout, anywhere from 7 to 9 feet tall, hard to tell because it was kind of up in the tree, grabbing a hold of it and peering down at him. It had the red eyes, and he said that it had a set of claws too, so it was clawing into the bark to stay up on the tree. And it had that smell. Phillips compared it to the stench of a dead animal. So based on the stories and research and the info that states that the wild man fights Sasquatch for territory, first let me talk about the circus thing for a second. Okay, first off, every time I hear a story about Bigfoot or a wild man being seen. Back in the day, in 1800s, early 1900s, people would say that it escaped from a circus. The reason why they say that, though, is because at first appearances, they assume it's an animal. It's an ape or a monkey or something, a very well-trained bear, because it's on its hind legs the entire time, running through the woods. So it had to have been trained by a circus person, right? Then later people see it and go, no, it's not an animal, it's a person, a hairy person. So yeah, all the rumors that these things get escaped from circuses, I don't know if any of those are true. I think it's more about, it looks like it was trained. So anyway, then beside that, based on the wild man fighting Sasquatch for territory, that's been witnessed. So the wild man looks slightly different than whatever the Sasquatch looks like, and so people will say, I saw a wild man fighting a Sasquatch, because I think that the wild men are really young male Sasquatch that have been cut off or kicked out of their tribes, and so they are frustrated, which is where the red eyes come from. Sasquatch's eyes have been known, according to records, to change colors based on their emotion. Some people that see them when they're curious, their eyes are yellow, and they're stepping side to side, moving their head side to side while they're watching you. When they're shouting and angry, their eyes are red. When they're peaceful, their eyes just glow white sometimes, or are seen as orbs, or a light blue color. Anyway, let's move on. I think that it's young Sasquatch being kicked out of tribes, and so they're aggravated, they're frustrated, and they're aggressive, and they're looking for a mate, which explains why they're grabbing women. It is likely that the Tennessee Wildman and all Sasquatch tribes could live well over 150 years. We don't know how long they live, but they have the genes, the genetics, to be able to live a long time. Humans do too, but we kind of destroy ourselves in a lot of ways. I mean, humans could live in their hundreds, but yeah, with the stuff we eat and everything, that's not going to happen. So they can live around 150 years out there easily in the Tennessee mountains, but it may be assumed that more than one of these creatures exists at the same time, because I found several reports where one was seen in one location, for example in Tennessee, and then a creature was sighted that looks a lot like that in Kentucky as well on the exact same day, and they were both called the Tennessee Wildman. So there's more than one of these exiled young Sasquatches out there. That's what I think is going on. Anyway, I would not be doing my job if I also didn't tell you that I also have to bring up feral people also living in Tennessee and in other states, but a lot in Tennessee. Tennessee feral people generally refers to isolated, wild, and potentially dangerous individuals or groups of individuals living in the remote areas of the Appalachian Mountains, particularly in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park and along the Appalachian Trail. These two are known to be out there, not giants, regular-sized people. Some of them are kind of hairy. I mean, they grow beards out and junk like that. They don't shave or whatever sometimes, but they're not as hairy to the level of like Sasquatch tribes, but are also extremely dangerous. I would go as far as to say much more dangerous than Sasquatch tribes, and very aggressive, because they are more like land pirates, and they're criminals because they don't have the same codes as the giant hairy tribes do of staying with nature and everything. These guys will come and try to steal your stuff, and they will kill you. Some of them that have been caught were cannibalistic. You have to look at the police records to find this stuff. Anyway, Sasquatch tribes will try to stay invisible to people if they possibly can. These guys don't mind pretending that they need help out in the woods, and they pull you to a location saying, hey, if you just come over here to my camp, you can help me or something, and then you disappear. So anyway, what do you think of the Tennessee Wildman? Leave a comment below. And that is going to do it for this one. Thanks so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe to BMO Creative for more crypto videos. Thanks so much. Bye.